Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have two Divine Masculine Twin Flame reads for you. They're big ones with a lot of information that's important, so please stay tuned. If you can't watch the whole thing today, watch it in another piece because there's definitely important information for you twins out there who need codes. So take a deep breath, you guys. Okay, there's a lot going on here. I was just trying to meditate to my inner child to see if there's a message, and my inner child was coming up all grown up, and my twin being there, and there was very positive energies between the two, and I'm literally feeling someone touch me down there at the moment, so please excuse me. I just got back from running, I'm sweating, and so yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. I'm going to do my best to get through all this information. All right, so before I started this read yesterday, the first one was at 3:04 to 5 yesterday afternoon. 3 is the Empress, 4 and 5 are the Emperor and the Hierophant, and that's also 3, 4, 5, that sequence, the 3D, 4D, and 5D. Before I did that read, I was getting downloads about the sine wave, the sine and the line. Line being linear and the sine being a line that moves in a cycle, or it's cyclical. And I was getting some of this information from betterexplained.com. So the circle references 2 sine waves, and of course sinus rhythm refers to the wave in your heart. And then the line references more of the square. And the sine cycles between 1, +1, and -1. So in other words, 0 point is the middle. All right, so that's the referencing to the 0 point. So it grows and then dives and then returns to neutral. So then it went through some of the trigonometry problems regarding the x and the circle, and then pi. Actually, pi equals 0 from the circle out to the circle and back. So it's 0 to 1 to 0 equals pi. So pi is the sign returning to center. If pi is half the natural cycle, it asked, why isn't it a clean simple number? Well, then it said, why does a 1 by 1 square have a diagonal length of, then showing the division sign, you know, with the 2 in there, equals 1.414, which is 1414, which is the 2 angels. So the numbers, you know, always parallel the twin flames. So then it stated that philosophically, and you notice that Sophia comes up in philosophically, it's inconvenient when nature doesn't line up, right, linear, over our number system. So then getting into this read, at 3:04 to 5, the SIRIAN STARSEED deck, which is the main deck for my 7-deck read, was cut and dealt. And again, it is a general read, so if something doesn't resonate, don't force it to fit. But there's a lot of messages here. Some of them are downloads, some of them are part of the reads, some of them are for everybody, some of them are for just a few. And also it is for the Divine Masculine, so it will affect the masculine within the feminine as well. So right away, from the numbers, from the cards I was putting down, I always pull a few cards on either end of the read, and as I was putting the extra cards down after the last card of the read, for some reason, I was positioning them the opposite way that I usually do, and the numbers of the cards were showing up. So 7, 9, Ace, Strength card, and then 10 were coming up. So 79 was coming up as an important number, which came up yesterday too, which for me is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but it also references graduation. And notice that 79, you know, what's the missing? What's the space between 7 and 9? Well, it's 8, 8, Lionsgate. And then I get more about this on the next page, so I'll go into that a little bit more. So the chariot too is the feminine within the masculine, the chariot being the vehicle of ascension and 9 being the compassion. It's actually the connection to the next cycle, right? Because it's when you want to get rid of everything that you no longer need. And then we had the ace of the 1, the strength card, which is Leo, which is now, and it's also Lionsgate, and then the 10, which is the high vibration. So 7, 8, 9, 10, we're all coming up here. 7, 8, 9, 10, begin again and again and again, keeping your vibration high as we support the Lionsgate with the 8, 8 in the middle and the support of the 7 and the 9 around it. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with the 8, 8 in between, which is the masculine and the feminine, both balanced in their masculine and feminine, doing the dance back and forth of the graduate. And I've gotten this year after year now, that Lionsgate is a sort of graduation for the twin flames. So the 9 is the end of the cycle, and it also in the 7 signs and the 7 seals, they always talk about the kaleidoscoping of the 7th going into the next cycle. So here the 9 kaleidoscopes into the 10, 11, 12, which are the higher octaves in numerology. So 1, strength, which is Leo, or ego, or the time period right now, or Lionsgate, and then number 10. So regarding between 1 and 10, as we were just talking about sign being the 1, 0, and -1, the same principle is 1 to 10 with the 5 in the middle, right? 5 being the 0 point. And actually 1 to 10, it depends on the perspective of the numbers, because if you literally go from 1 to 10, the middle of 1 to 10 is actually 5.5. If you go from 0 to 10, then it's 5, right? Because you're including 1 as everything that adds up to 1. So everything above 0 to 1. So again, everything is all in perspective. So, and you notice too that for some reason, 4, 3, 2, 1 was coming up. Oh, that's the pyramid in the 10 of Cups card. 4, 3, 2, 1 equals 10. So the message I was getting yesterday in this read was the top dog gets down off of the pyramid scheme. And then it was interesting because I watched Magenta Pixie yesterday about her Lionsgate video. I think it's the last one she did. And she brought up Netanyahu. And the Netanyahus used to babysit for me and my siblings when we were growing up. So it was interesting that the prime minister came up. So they were talking about whether or not someone had asked her. She was doing a question and answer. So it's not the Lionsgate video. It's the one she put them out. I think she put both of them out the same day. But one was a question and answer, and then the next one was about Lionsgate. So somebody had asked whether Netanyahu was part of the cabal, and she had responded no, but he has that energy around him, and he was more of a gray area. So that comes up for me, and I'll tell you what came up for me in just a minute. So then 99 came up in my read, the first one. The one in front of you is the second read. Oh, I'm going to show you all the reads too. Let me do that now before I forget. All right, so this is the first read from yesterday, and then this is the full first read. So you can go ahead and take a picture of them if you'd like to follow the cards. Let me just clear it up just a little bit. And then for today, this is the read, the basic read for today. And, oops, sorry. And then this is the full read for today. Okay? And actually, I want to show you this picture too. Yesterday, my daughter sends me this picture. This thing flew out of like a farm truck when she was driving and literally shot or stabbed her car. And this is the, yeah, I said, Jen, you might want to sit with that thing and see what the message is for you. So that was kind of crazy. So there's messages everywhere, guys. All right, so 99 came up in this first read at 3, 2, 1, jump. And that's interesting because I just, at the end of the read today, 3, 2, 1, jump, that time came up again. So 99 is a whole lot of compassion. One chalices came up, and then lices was coming up from the first read as well. So I don't know if somebody's dealing with lice, but that can reference Lou icing someone as well, which I just brought up that weapon of destruction I just showed you. So one of the chalice is really the Ace of Cups, right? So which is all about self-love, spiritual love, new love. And then some of the number clusters were coming up, and I was guided to do some cancellations to see what numbers were coming up. And the Lovers came up, the V1 as the 6 was the first thing that came up. Then times 36 came up, so X36, and then X217 came up, which 36 is 9 and 217 is 10. So again, that's 9, 10, begin again and again and again. And also the 2 added up equals 253. So that might be significant for someone. The double number 55 also came up, which is the Ace of Swords. So here we have the Ace of Cups coming up and the Ace of Swords before we even get into the read. And this was at 322, which is the Empress and the Fool. And 55, a lot of people will say 55 leads into the 1 of the new beginning. And then 79 came up twice more as far as the number clusters, as well as the number 60, which is the 6 of Swords, and that was significant in the second read as well. So 6 to 6, 15. Yeah, so 79 came up twice again. So 79 is really significant here. And regarding August 7th and 9th, because the 8th is Lionsgate, the 8-8, the space between, and that the 7th and the 9th are basically supporting roles, or they're supporting literally, you know, like a flyer on a cheerleading pyramid. 8-8 is the top dog that's getting down, that I just reported is getting down off of the pyramid, but that may be regarding a family pyramid there. But that the 7 and 9 around them are really supporting, and then I was getting around the 7 and 9 on either side, even further, was the numbers 56 and 10, 56 being the being in your knowing, the 2 of Swords, and the 10 being, again, that high vibration. So both being very high vibration around, on grounding, the 7 and 9 supporting the 8 and 8 on Lionsgate. I was also getting a reference to the, as part of Revelations, the 3 sections there where they reported in Revelations, it says that Archangel Michael's in the middle there at the start of the 3.5 years of all the signs. And after the peacetime, and again, 6 of Swords is coming up, which has to do with peace times. So I was getting Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. Anyway, all the chain of all of that energy. So Sophia, Mother Mary, Isis, and Mary Magdalene were all coming up under the 8-8 energies, with Michael on the 7th and Metatron on the 9th. So those, they were showing me like this pyramid of energies, and that the 8 was really representing the strength of the feminine motherhead, okay? And then Michael and Metatron being the dogs, you know, her guard dogs, basically, around them. And actually, the feminine being the actual angel, and Michael and Metatron being the actual witnesses, right? Because normally you would think the giant angel is Metatron or Michael, right? But here, no, the message I was getting, no, it's the mother. And the 7 and the 9 around them, supporting them, are Michael and Metatron. And then again, the high vibration energies around the 7 and 9, then grounding to the earth. So then, since Benjamin Netanyahu came up, or BB came up, and if you're interested, his date of birth is 10/21/49, and this was coming from nationco.ke, so I think it was Kenya. So his brother was a lieutenant colonel who was killed in action at the raid on Entebbe in 1976, and notice that 1976 is the bicentennial. So it was the raid to rescue Israeli hostages. And notice the numbers of the plane. You know, so they were disguising the planes to go in there to rescue hostages. And the flight was 707, which I woke up at 707 the other day and told you that. And it was the C-130 Hercules, okay? And 13, of course, is the number of death and transition. But the C also references the unity consciousness. But the Hercules was coming up, and that comes up in the second read today. So it's constantly like everything connects to the next and the next and the next. So this was literally not just 1976, the bicentennial year, but it was on July 4th, 1976. And first Hercules landed in Entebbe shortly after midnight. Instead of going to the old terminal, leader Netanyahu decided to shoot dead 2 Ugandan soldiers, and then he was shot by a sniper. So the hostages were rescued, but what they didn't know at the time was there had been one of the hostages was 75 years old, and she had been hospitalized after choking. But once they came in and killed people and then rescued their people, then the 75-year-old was faced with their wrath and was dragged out of her bed and later killed. Okay, you can imagine a 75-year-old woman. Okay, so, and this now is 340. So this is the Empress and the Page of Cups, the innocent one, the mother and the innocent one. So I started this read here at, so anyway, I'm not positive that Ben used to babysit for us, but I know that his brother did. So it's very interesting that that came up. All right, so I finished this first read at 350. So 3 is the Empress, 50 is the 10 of Cups. And the read actually ended on the 10 of Cups. So the time was the 10 of Cups, and then the read ended on the 10 of Cups. And the code line number was 88, literally, which adds up to 16 and the 7. So the Tower and the Chariot also referencing the 88 of the masculine and the feminine, both dancing between their masculine and feminine within. There were no major arcana in this first read, not in the main part. After the read, before the read, Indigo came up. Indigo's like the Magician, and then after the read, the Strength card came up, but there was nothing in the main part of the read. There were 3 swords, 5 cups, 2 wands, and 1 pentacle. So a lot of heart-based feelings coming up yesterday for the masculine. That was Saturday. And then we had the Knight of Swords in the read, the Knight of Cups, and then the Page of Cups in the read. So all very young energies or messages. We also had the 9 of Cups in the read, which can reference a sovereign or the masculine sovereign. The numbers that came up in the read, again referencing the 789, and that already came up. This is separate from that. The numbers that came up here, we had double 8s were the main double numbers, and then in a lesser sense 77 and 99 came up. So here we are again emphasizing 789, and that Lionsgate is the main focus here. That 77, the sovereign, is supporting the 88 on one side, and the 9 of the compassion is supporting Lionsgate on the other side, or the twins. And then 56 and 10 lay on either side of those. 56 being the 2 of Swords, and 10 being the Wheel of Fortune, that very high vibration, the 0101 trill. And those two energies grounding the 789. 789 is also a reference to the 5D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 789 for the 5D. And then the higher octave being the 10, 11, 12, which would be the 6D. So number 1 also came up, and 3, the Magician and the Empress, and 13, which is the Death and Transition card, the transition portal. Also 35, 21 came up. 35 is the Wounded Warrior, and 21 is the World, completion. And the sequence 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all came up in a row, which is the second half of the cycle. And 79 again, the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow. The 88 came up again. And 78, the 10 of Pentacles. 89, which is the reflection of the human body temperature, meaning the temperature's out of control, either too hot or too cold. And then 34 is the 8 of Wands, and 45, the 5 of Cups. So the message here on the code line, referencing rebirth and domestic harmony, and there were letters covered, so there was codes in that as well. The message was about definitely Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene were being referenced here first thing. And 88, I don't know why I'm getting a flight 88. I'm not familiar with one, but if there was some kind of flight 88 that's being referenced here, let me know. I was also getting, as soon as I wrote down the 88, that we're fully on board, all channels. Fully on board channels. So your channeling abilities are fully on board, or you're getting new downloads on Lionsgate, or the energies now. So now at the full moon through the 12th, which are the numbers I was getting yesterday. And then Magenta Pixie, after I watched, or that was the day before, and then Magenta, when I watched her, she confirmed that we're getting the energies of Lionsgate from the 3rd to the 12th, and then the 13th was the portal that opened that would connect us to the 12/21/20 activation. So the 88 crowned by the 77 and the 99, or in other words, the 79, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and graduation day, while the 56 and the 10 on either side, flanking, being in your knowing and that high vibration, grounding around them, the Mary Magdalene, and you can reference this as Mother Mary as well, because it's all in the same line. The temperature rises with the phi, the PHI, or the need to center, and you notice that PHI, the letters are 7, 8, 9. P is 7, H is 8, I is 9. So again, it's referencing the phi, the golden ratio, 7, 8, 9, and the need to center. When the 8 gets between the 7 and 9, LOL, okay? So when the lion or the strength, the ego, gets between the 7 of the chariot and the 9 of the compassion, there's a need to center or pull back and come back to 0 again. After all, the 8 is the storm between the quiet and the compassionate ending, as the sovereign one and compassionate one, or Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, who are like leading the masculine and feminine as far as the messages I'm getting, as the sovereign one and the compassionate one dance across the floor. This also references the masculine and the feminine to each other at a meet as 8-8, and merge into one infinity symbol or sine wave, a continuous wave pattern, unending. As 9 goes back or returns to 7, it takes the 10 high vibration destiny to break the pattern. So Metatron and Michael were definitely coming up here, as well as Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. You see they're all double M's there, and that's not coincidence. As the temperature rises, a need to ground and center, aid and sift or shift the divine feminine, or the Sophia's feminine. The Sophia is Eve, the night, the seeker or student of the 8-8 Lionsgate of orbs, taking the high road northeast, or indeed the etheric and the divine feminine oriented northeast. For me, north is feminine, east is feminine. And then the domestic harmony and rebirth were coming up with some of their letters covered. So rebirth was covered, R-E-B was covered, and then I-R-T-H was the rest of the word. And then domestic harmony, D-O-M was covered. And then in domestic harmony, or harmony, the H-A-R was covered. So it gets confusing, but I'm going to tell you what I got from the cryptic message there. So earth mystic of our money, so definitely money was coming up here. Earth establishing informed consent regarding money or value, what has value. So then Estic was coming up, actually means E-star or S-star. And E-star is actually a punch-in system that we used to use at work. But it also means to be in a place, a temporary state of being, to be present. So the first part of that code was coming up as earth, presently, our money. So basically saying the best value right now is the actual earth itself. So anything that is involved with the planet regarding, like homes and things like that are probably your best value as far as money right now. And then DOM was coming up as the definition domain or the Pope. Dominate, gecko, it means mountain as well. Cathedral, dumb, stupid, silly, nobleman, clergy. Pedo man, which kind of gave me the creeps because it's literally, listen to this, within Dom is the Pope and the pedo man, which is like the pedophiliacs, right? And the pedo man is a guideline. It's like coming up as this religious guideline, which is kind of creepy. Domino is coming up, to me and for me, which references all about me, right? The house, judgment, sentence, law, statute, home or house, gift, talent, dome, anus, and prolapse of rectum all came up under DOM. And then the other acronym came up was HAR, which is a hinge, the sound of laughter, hither, worm, caterpillar, hare, man, or gray-haired or venerable. So in other words, what was coming up is to not only be, but re-be the gift, or in other words, the Pope type energy, the mountain, the stupid, or be an ass, the house, the judgment. Be those gifts that you are, whether you deem them negative, positive. Re-be the gift, or repurpose the gift. That with the sound of laughter, grace, or venerable, the hinge or the toggle point, or the point of articulation from which you can wave or move in all directions, or in other words, 0 point, the sine wave, not the cross, but the plus sign, the circle, at the heart of it, the constant movement, or in other words, life itself. And the caterpillar was coming up as the connection too there. So NE was also coming up, which means human, person, water, river. Stop, no, not, don't. So some negative connotations. Also snow, truly, indeed. So that's funny, 2 different things said indeed. Mouth, snout, edge, bite, sting, the number 4, lip, and eat. So that came up as well. So then Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Michael, and Metatron were all coming up. And Metatron was making a joke, which he always does with me, that why do you think M&M candies are so delicious? And this was all at 440. All right, so that's the 44, which is a master's number, but it's also the 4 of cups of grounding and integrating and mastering love, with 0 behind it, which is more source energy backing it up. And having a backup was coming up in this read and the second read, so that was interesting too. So after Metatron's coming up with that little joke about M&Ms and the giant angels, because I was just talking about the giant angel between the 2 witnesses in Revelations, then Metatron was going, fee, fi, pi, plum, I smell the blood of a human one. And it's fee, like something costs, and then phi is the PHI, the golden ratio, and then pi, PI, and then the plum, which we've been talking about the plum recently, about things being plum, but also the plum being good for your eyes. Phi, phi, pi, plum, I smell the blood of a human one. It could be an English one as well. The divine feminine students of the 88 Lionsgate, and valuing their throne. The name Ophir was coming up, but also the offer to be Sophia and take the high road, to stay in your high vibration in Northeast and value the throne that you've been given, that you sit upon. And also referencing the throne of the Sophia next to the masculine. And also for the masculine to value the Sophia within himself, the human. So it was getting a little bit complicated there. Also 2 knights and 2 5s came up in this read. So besides the 7, 7, 8, 8, and 9, 9. So a lot of double numbers there. And the 2 knights. So, and this was coming up yesterday. So it would be the night of the 1st and the 2nd. So then coming up the 3rd after 2 nights, which is the full moon. So Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Metatron and Michael, and the phi, the PHI, or the F energy, or the circle with the line drawn outside the lines, because then there's a need to center. The after death, divine feminine Eve, the full moon, with the page of cups and swords, but without the cups, or in otherwise without the motions, is the high road or the throne of the Queen of Swords kind of energy. As the leader or example, if you cry all the time or show excitement or anger, the crowd can't sustain it and will ultimately reject it. So this is why they're saying when you come online like I'm doing, it's really important to maintain neutrality, even if you're still human and you get excited or you cry sometimes or you get angry. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not lying to not show that online, but that in order for people to receive, they need to stay in the neutral zone, because not everybody can handle high excitement or high energy. Not everyone can handle anger, or not everyone can handle sadness, okay? So it's coming up to value the throne that you sit upon, and that the crowd may not be able to sustain if you go to the polarities of excitement or anger or sadness. So to aim to be more neutral, calm, a common thread that all can rely on at 457, 4 being the Emperor, and 57 being the Three of Swords, which has to do with heartbreak and separation. So the Knight of Swords starts this read upright, with the Indigo reversed, King of Wands reversed, the King of Pentacles reversed, and the Four of Cups reversed below it. The Messenger of Truth rushes in. After Insecure, King of Wands reversed, and King of Pentacles reversed, start over in love, or start over in an affectionate relationship. It doesn't have to be lovers. Done being bored, apathetic, and feeling sorry for themselves. And then the Messenger of Truth rushes in with 5D messages presenting the truth to the Ten of Cups, emotionally fulfilled, and happy family or happy ending to emotional cycle. Getting over grief, loss, regret, guilt, shame, and or the past, in need of help, the inner child, and the outer man, the Page of Pentacles reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, which can be a father and child, or the King of Pentacles and his own inner child, Capricorn or sine wave, presenting the truth of the light collapsed and the dark or shadow, that for every extremely happy ending, there's an addiction or codependency to overcome. Or the Knight of Swords presents the truth to their family, who pretends to accept it, but as soon as they walk away, they are saying to themselves, hasta la vista, or the King of Pentacles reversed is stepping down or forced to step down, or Capricorn no longer representing the family. Or 3D, blissfully unaware of the dark agenda, and the 4D is perpetuating it by judging them for it. And that kind of energy was coming up from Magenta as well, so definitely watch her videos. Whereas the 5D is that more neutral perspective of seeing both polarities or all polarities, but not choosing sides. The Queen of Cups intuitive about the Pope or religious leader, transition or death, or Queen of Cups Scorpio having compassion for sun rising and sun setting. And I was getting SON sun rising and SUN sun setting. And sunrise, sunset comes up again in the second read, amazing. Between the Twin Towers and the Twin Flames, which is also the name of my CD, which didn't come up for that reason. My CD is Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames. But between Twin Flowers and Twin Flames, done aligning, overworking, or whatever's not working, healing, forgiving, stationary and stubborn, the Bull, foolishness, falling on face from grace, so just lacking faith in general, forgiving one eye or lack of sight or foresight, or no movement, no work, disabled, strike, lazy or foolish, having the goods and the green dress to be transported, but then turning the ship back, or capsized and turned over, or drove off a cliff, or cliff notes. Feeling I'm having a lot of trouble talking today. Feeling foolish, embarrassed, under the radar, the workplace with the secret out, blown way out of proportion, or blown wide open, eruption, encryption or corruption, I'm also getting here, crown or cover blown, case tiles closed, or case files closed, or thrown out, or sudden explosion, or everyone is thrown out, and that could be a case that was thrown out, or building is condemned, or twin towers realigned. And what was going on behind the scenes, backstage, the hook in the train, the ice or lice, everyone freaking out, or someone hung themselves, or history or bell towers, or someone's watching Austin Powers at 527, which is the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands, new passion. And that's funny because Austin Powers is very much the kind of like the Hierophant with the Ace of Swords. Crack me up. All right, 28 is the Twin Flames then at 528. Healing family issues, and below that was, it is safe for you to love. And the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, was the card of the theme in that read. So the world is upside down, or incomplete, or the cycle needs completing, or the divine feminine sleeping in another dimension, her right arm to his left arm or elbow, dumping a load, a burden, confessing, losing the battle, conflict over, no more casual flirting or casual sex, or Dungeons and Dragons, or Nightmare on Elm Street, or dresses or shorts so short that when you bend over you see everything. the black cat between legs, swords and tripods, the family crests and expensive collections on the wall or crystals, the cinder block walls and cement or cold cement floors, no more butt cracks, yet still suffering in silence or dealing with a sister, with the Knight of Cups coming forward or confessing their love. New beginnings comes up here, and beneath that was just love. After a falling out, a negative past, being unhappy apart. In disconnect and settling out, the Page of Wands reversed, frustrated, and the King of Wands, passionate. The Two of Pentacles reversed, dropping the ball, sovereign, withholding, and delaying new life. Father and child, disconnected or discontent, refusing to offer or share, or that's the King of Wands' inner child, while the sovereign has everything they need without juggling, without new life. Seems that they're impervious to those around them with scoundrelish intentions. Or the King of Wands sees the sovereign as throwing away money, and the Page of Wands reversed as dropping the ball and discontented or ill. Or the King of Wands sees them as giving to those who don't deserve it. And this can reference people around them, from family or work, or his own kids, or the Divine Feminine, so it can be all different situations. So the King of Wands sees them as giving to those who don't deserve it, an energetic exchange or expressing feelings or hours of love, but no offer of time, money, or energy, and the Knight of Swords foolish, causing disasters everywhere they go, or sudden family issues, events or drama, explosions, eruptions, epiphanies, and the Knight of Cups offering or being love, and new beginnings, after two are dissatisfied, alone, or without each other. The recent past is the Page of Cups reversed, rejection, shy, and vulnerable to energetic exchange or hours of love, deliberating injustice, swallowing pride, unfair in state of emergency, or brokenness, breakdown, stuckness. And the Page of Wands upright, now released. Page of Cups is reversed, but the Page of Wands is upright here. One is happy and one not. Or Aquarius reversed, Libra reversed, and Cancer reversed, inspired to release. The Queen of Pentacles reversed, depressed, arrogant, or an Aquarius bird, and the King of Pentacles reversed, and Libra reversed had come up there too, bleeding out under the radar or with negative or unwanted attention at 624, which is the Lovers and the Queen of Wands. The foundation here is the Knight of Cups upright, being love, the Knight of Swords, King of Swords, and Wounded Warrior, seeing synchronicities, or options, or shopping but not finding what works for the Wounded Warrior, refusing to give up. Or the King of Swords sends by messenger on behalf of the Wounded Warrior, but they pass, or interception by foolish behavior, so someone might lose the message, or messages sent simultaneously, and it's like two ships that pass in the night, just missing the other's message. Or the King of Swords upright is sending the King of Pentacles reversed their options for a happy ending. So that could be, like if they're trying to work out a settlement from a contract or a divorce, working out their options at 627, which is the Lovers and the Ace of Wands. So at 629, which is then the 29 of the Three of Wands being present, the World is reversed, or the Divine Feminine in the 5D, holding back an offer of a new life, or denied help. The central energy here is the Eight of Cups walking away, and the King of Wands reversed, dark night, or death, end, or transition without peace, juggling, performing the daily grind, or doing the dance to distract others from the ships and high seas behind them, behind the scenes, perhaps imports and exports. The truth presented, or sword collector. The challenge being the Eight of Swords reversed, release. With the Five of Cups reversed and the Five of Wands reversed, getting over loss, regret, or the past, a losing battle or ending conflict, no more competition or play. The Ten of Pentacles upright, family, business, or community, or legacy, is under the microscope, or seeing an advisor, or an auditor, or helping to choose a new path, or someone could be in the witness protection plan as well. The Two of Swords, knowing and keeping to themselves, crossing their heart and hoping to die, foolish, and lost the fight. Or by not opening their eyes, they fell or lost a fight, or blindly walked into a trap or the lion's den. Sharing, being charitable, or settling out. Present, or purchasing a gift and walking away and within, pondering what the truth actually is. The Chariot's reversed, The bulls in an equal split broke down, or female bull stuck with nowhere to go. The Ace of Pentacles reversed, stage broken down, or blue curtains taken down, or billowing blues, tower of jealous rage, or dark man with axe coming at him, which is what happened to my daughter with the drive-by yesterday, or axe to grind, or someone or something attacked with an axe-shaped object, big love at work or in the kitchen, or went out for a walk and came back and caught two having sex, or saw someone having sex or having an affair and was keeping to themselves to avoid conflict or jealous rage. No peaceful place to go, losing patience or fallen angel, and those two getting caught, that could be kids getting caught too. No peaceful place to go, losing patience or fallen angel, or Sagittarius reversed and disconnect, disagree, or at a distance. The Queen of Swords upright speaking, while the King of Wands reversed is only half listening, stuck, strategizing, or without a car or nowhere to go. And now the Nine of Cups reversed, and the Two of Cups reversed, and the Northeast. And 6 rays, or lost Ray-Bans. Somebody might have lost their glasses. So the Nine of Cups reversed has to do with unhappiness or lack of satisfaction, and the Two of Cups reversed is a disconnection or a breakup, or just not agreeing or being at a distance. And then the Northeast was coming up to toggle up and go to your feminine side. Dance to the feminine, and the Lover's rays. The Magician reversed, insecure or dissatisfied, and the King of Cups reversed, or maybe he's insecure or dissatisfied with the King of Cups reversed and feeling betrayed or in pain with the King of Pentacles, Magician, with all the tools on board, the Dark Knight, end, death, or transitioning and falling down on their knees, praying that the dark birds go away, holding up a new life. Or the King of Cups reversed is a Scorpio who's passed, or King of Pentacles upright did, but there's no money distributed, with sneaky Gemini around, who played the King of Cups reversed, or the King of Cups reversed is a Gemini reversed. The Queen of Wands upright in breaking up, and frustrated at home, or just not seeing eye to eye, or with ungrateful kids, and or broke and no money being offered. The Knight of Cups walked away, challenged by release, dissatisfied, without affection, or in a cheating scenario. The Ten of Cups home, the family could be home chopping wood, and the bird hit the window at that time. It was right on the dot 7 p.m. last night. So 7 is the Chariot, backed up by a lot of source energy when the bird hit the window. And Elena Bobbitt was coming up right then too. So I hope nobody got chopped by anyone. So the Sham Fam was coming up of the 10 of Cups with no affection, feeling alone, or jealous rage about big love for work, or depression or arrogance coming up, no longer obsessed and without peace. And the Queen of Pentacles reversed and their daughter reversed, both spending a lot of money or ungrounded and recovering. So 703, 3 is the Empress now with the Chariot, letting go to repair, insecure without tools, or manipulating impatient Sagittarius. A player or fallen angel, or impatient and fell short, or holding back true desires. The Page of Pentacles reversed, opportunists no longer hurting each other or self, or the Emperor reversed and Hierophant upright are acting like two little kids. The Knight of Wands reversed and Page of Pentacles reversed, manipulating and hurting each other over a disconnect or a breakup, with the Queen of Wands perhaps with 2 men, or the Divine Masculine married with 2 women. Or the Knight of Wands reversed is an Aries and the Page of Pentacles reversed is a Taurus. Could be kids fighting or men fighting, but the Queen of Wands seems to be the common thread. And the Queen of Swords is between the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands reversed. Soon as the Six of Swords reversed, stuck in thoughts with no peace, finding no peace and no peaceful place to go, choosing a path connected to Hermit with dream family that doesn't fight, starting over in love, rising above, awake with the Empress reversed, coming clean, getting clean, or cleaning up the act, to the Page of Cups reversed, standing up for themselves, taking the high ground, and the Knight of Swords telling off a sovereign reversed who may be powerless or dependent, a mother reversed or grandmother reversed or child reversed, standing up to each other, or the Empress reversed is coming clean about an abortion or a miscarriage. Messages back and forth between Mother reversed and Children reversed, or the Divine Masculine being prevented from seeing their kids. And this was at 7:17 to 7:18. And the number 27 was coming up here again, which is the Ace of Wands. He sees himself as the Seven of Wands upright, the Phoenix rising above the drama, social distancing, negative groups and bad influences, overindulgences and weaknesses, and third party and ego death, or Leo out of control, healing and being love, the Knight of Cups to the Page of Swords upright. The Knight of Cups offering love and the Page of Swords or message of suffering and silence as a third party with no power or no strength, or maybe seen that way. Honeymoon, religious factors, express your love, and this could be the one. You've already met, or no, this could be the one. It is. It's the same. The last card came up 2 days in a row. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Around the masculine or how he is seen, the Five of Pentacles reversed, recovery, losing patience and or work, or Sagittarius fallen angel and stubborn bull, dumped, purging, or overwhelmed, the Queen of Cups upright and the Queen of Swords upright with stubborn bull and deception between them, Cancer reversed and Sagittarius reversed here, and challenged by the Three of Wands upright, being present in the moment, in disconnect, hanging out to see new perspectives and standing up for themselves. Domestic harmony came up, rebirth, and even more so for the masculine here was pride. So ego is definitely an issue here today. The King of Cups reversed and the Five of Cups reversed, emotionally unavailable, recovering from loss, regret, or past, and the Ten of Cups upright, dumping a load, a burden, a responsibility, confessing, coming clean, or cleaning up their act or space and implementing a plan. The Queen of Wands upright and the Queen of Swords upright, and the King of Wands reversed, in state of emergency planning or estate planning, getting over loss or the past. The family needing coverage or courage in downturn, without affection, or in a breakup or player falling short or falling off the wagon, or just dealing with wild kids or illness or tired, in need of sunshine, or overexposed with the truth out, powerless or financially drained, or dependence may be draining you, and cleaning up the act, no more passing the buck. And the Knight of Swords, Knight of Cups rising above the drama to recover from exile, destitution, injury, or illness, and the Page of Cups reversed, rejection, vulnerability, or spoiled and entitled brat, walking away and within, and the challenge being release without peace, but presently unhappy, alone, but emotionally fulfilled at the same time, weak with the truth out and drained by kids, in downturn, or that could be people around you who act like kids as well, or downturn or loss of power and independence, but getting clean, cleaning up, or putting downloads on hold. The Knight of Swords and the Page of Cups reversed, without a new start, and the Knight of Cups walks away and challenged by release from anxiety or prison, but dissatisfied, alone. Rising above with no peace, or stuck in the drama without a place to go, recovering at present, or being present to flame or gift of the moment, and a positive family or emotional fulfillment, a cycle that's ending, needing strength to present truth, powerless to stop downloads, or no longer watching others pass information, now learning to do it yourself. All right, so that was the read from yesterday. I'm going to pull an energy card between the reads. All right, let's see what comes up here. So I'm going to hit this again. Take a deep breath. All right, what is the message to summarize that first read from August 1st, 2020? I'm having a lot of trouble getting my words out of my mouth today. I'm not the best articulator to begin with, so. All right. So what is the message? So for everybody watching, the best and highest good of others concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? And let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned across all dimensions. Let's fill that empty space with beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to bring up too the fact that I've been having a lot of stress in my heart space, or the heart chakra today. A lot of stress. So let's see what comes up for the first read. All right, we've got the number 40, the Page of Cups, and the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron, who did come up during that read. This is my favorite card in this deck. It's really powerful. So just take a look at that. Let me clear up the focus a little bit. Yeah, it's a really powerful energy. All right, the bottom of the deck, look at that. That's amazing. The Angel of Strength. This is like representing the feminine and the masculine. It can also represent Michael and Metatron, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, which I brought up in the beginning of the read. We also have 40 and 50, and that's interesting. In the second read, 50 and 60 came up, and you notice there's 10 between them, and there's a message about that in the next read. So 40 is the Page of Cups, 50 is the 10 of Cups, which the read ended on. The 10 of Cups, the emotional fulfillment, or the happy ending. So that's a really nice message there. Let's get right into the second read, because this one's not short either. It was just 50-50, which is the happy ending. All right, so 50-50 too. There's maybe a settlement that's 50-50 as well, because that was kind of coming up in the read too. So today is August 2nd, 2020. So the 2 is the High Priestess, and it adds up to 14 today. 14 is the Temperance card, or the Angels, the higher love. And then, of course, the High Priestess is about secrets and using your intuitive abilities, keeping things quiet, right? The secret keeper. The SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt at 9:39 to 40 this morning, which is the Knight and Pages of Cups, along with the 9, which is the Hermit. And let's see. And as I was covering some of the cards up, as I was clarifying, F Flames came up again. So that's saying like screw flames, the drama. The Tower and the Moon were coming up together. The Sovereign and the Empress, which can be a mother and daughter. And then the 5 of Pentacles, so 2 left out in the cold, but it was coming up as reversed today, the 5 of Pentacles. So there's people recovering or being let back in, people who may have been kicked out. Or this is just what happened during, but let's see where this goes. And then 9:55 came up as well, and 55 is the Ace of Swords. I finished the read at 10:07 to 10:08 this morning. 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, and 7 the Chariot. 8 is the Strength card, and of course we're in that 7-8 Leo time period. The major arcana were Shadow and Tower. So Shadow is like the devil, Tower is the tower. Before the read we had Transition, which is the Death card, and the Star, and after the read the Hanging Man came up. We had 3 Pentacles, 2 Swords, and 4 Wands. There were no cups after having 5 cups yesterday. Today there were no cups in the read, this morning anyway. And then we had the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the only ones in the read, Knight and Queen of Wands. Before the read, the King of Pentacles came up, and after the read, the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords came up. So we have 2 Wands in the read, Knight of Wands and Queen. And after the read, we have 2 Swords, the Knight of Swords and Page of Swords. And then before the read, the King of Pentacles. So you see that the separation of the different energies there, which doesn't usually happen like that. Today, the double numbers that were really important were 66 and 1010. 66 is the Queen of Pentacles, and 1010 is that really high vibration to, meditate. We also had 33 come up in a lesser sense, which is the Christ vibration. It's also the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself without getting triggered or defensive. And the code line was all about parenting, compassion, and relationship change. And the numbers on the code line were 5, 6, and 10, which add up to 21. And I was getting blackjack today. So I don't usually say blackjack when I talk about the number 21. So that was definitely a message today. And 56 again is the 2 of Swords being in your knowing, and that 10 of the high vibration. They were coming up constantly, 56 and 10. And this is from yesterday. The 56 and 10 kept coming up today again. It's amazing how that does in all different ways. So this was just on the code line where I'm listing 5, 6, and 10, so 56 and 10, which add up to the 21. And then blackjack came up at 10, 17 to 18. And then the other numbers that came up were 324, which can be the Empress and the Queen of Wands, or the Journeyman and the Emperor. So that can be the feminine and the masculine aspects. I already told you 66, 10, 10, and 33 came up. 2 of the High Priestess, 56 of the 2 of Swords, 9, 10 begin again and again and again. 25 of the Knight of Wands, 69 of the Ace of Pentacles, 36 of the Ten of Wands, the Atlas energy, and then 69 is the Ace of Pentacles, 610 is 61 with the Source backing it up, which is the card of inherent risk, to take a risk. 23 is the King of Wands, and then 35 is the Wounded Warrior in a lesser sense here. So, toggling up Mother Mary and Thoth, and some sites will say that Metatron and Thoth are the same energy. So, and I was getting a connection here with that as well. So Mother Mary as well as Mary Magdalene can come up here, but it was coming up as Mother Mary and Thoth, or Mother Mary and Metatron. 5T, 6T, and the Ten of Swords, dark side of the moon, test. Thoth and Mary, toggling up to 5D. What was also showing me that up to the 5D that Thoth and Mother Mary are helping us, but then after 5D, Mary doesn't need to help us anymore. Then it's just Thoth or Metatron at 6 to 10 of orbs. Okay, because it's much more, it's different once you get to those dimensions, right? Because you can't even be seen anymore after the 7th dimension. So the dark moon department or test comes up here, and the 30 pieces of silver came up, and 56 came up here again. I didn't even notice that. The 5 times 6. So the 5, 6 is the Two of Swords, being in your knowing but keeping to yourself. So 30 pieces of silver came up, which obviously is the betrayal and the Judas. But I also got a message last week, I believe it was, of Judas trying to throw the 30 pieces back. Or, oh, that was coming up with what's his name? My brain doesn't remember anything. Pilate from the Roman who sentenced Jesus, or didn't, who washed his hands. He didn't want to be blamed for killing Jesus. So Pilate was trying to throw back, when Judas was trying to throw back his 30 pieces of silver back over the fence, Pilate was as well, trying to have some kind of restitution for what he had done, like to free him of his guilt. So 5 to 6 is coming up as 5 to 6D is coming up as the light side of the moon, so up to that point. So here we have the 56 again, and then 6 to 10 being the dark test, the dark side of the moon. The 56 of being in your knowing, and the 10 of the high vibration. And then TM was coming up as the trademark of the triangle. So the different triangles were coming up. The delta, which is the equal or equilateral triangle, ET, you notice that is 60 degrees in each angle. They all add up to 180 degrees within the triangle. And 5, that delta is about change, the number 5, about change, freedom, and expansion, and the Hierophant, which can reference God as well. The isosceles triangle comes up with 2 sides being equal, or at least 2 sides. And isosceles triangle then is IT. And okay, so I was trying to read one of my messages to myself, and I couldn't understand what I was trying to tell myself. So then the golden triangle comes up, which is also referencing the golden ratio, the 1.618, and it references as the only triangle that's 1 to 2 to 2. So it's literally 36 degrees by 72 degrees by 72 degrees. And at 10:33, my ears popped. So just like you're on, that happens once in a while for me. And it's interesting because it's usually around these times of big portals. It felt like my ears popped, but they didn't, but it sounds that way. So I had that feeling at 10:33, which is the Christ vibration. And then the golden triangle was coming up because that's phi, the PHI that we were just talking about, of the 7, 8, 9, and the drawing outside the lines, where then you need to now pull back to center because you'll get off balance because you've just expanded or grown. So the golden triangle is the 36 degree, and then 72 and 72, and then that is found in regular pentagrams and decagons, where the angles The angle equals the lateral 10-sided polygon by connecting any two adjacent vertices to the center. And then it was just giving some formulas here. Because the 180, and then in parentheses 10 minus 2 over 10 equals 144 degrees. So I just wanted to bring up the 144 came up here as well. That is the interior angle. And bisecting it through the vertex to center, 144 over 2 then equals the 72 degrees. Also found in nets of several stellations of dodecahedrons and icosahedrons, and then it goes into a formula of the golden ratio. Well, anyway, the golden ratio, then there's a golden gnomon or genomon, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but that is the reciprocal of the golden ratio, so it's the opposite, where the peak is a very large angle, and then the lower two are much smaller, the 36 and 36, and then the one that's not equal is 108 degrees. So 36 also came up in the golden triangle, right, with the 72 and 72, and 36 is the Atlas energy, and 72 plus 72 is the twins, the 144,000. So it's like it references the twins and the third energy of the Christ consciousness in Mother Mary. So Mother Mary, Atlas, and Hercules were all coming up here because there are some rocks, the Atlas, the Hercules, I forget which one it's called. There's a rock at Spain, you know, the tip of Spain, the rock of Gibraltar, is that it? That's a twin actually with another rock. And I am calling them Atlas and Hercules. They're not sure what, there's one of two rocks that they actually are, or mountains on the other side. I guess that they're both, one's in Morocco, the other one's right next to Morocco. But they always come up for me as the twin Atlas and Hercules. So they were guiding me to break down Atlas and Hercules. And this was referencing Atlas as the masculine and Hercules as the feminine of the 72 and the 72 of the 144, the twins, and the 36 of the peak of the golden triangle being the Atlas energy here. And 72, which I brought up before, is the Four of Pentacles, which I've also gotten those messages before where they're each the Four of Pentacles, because then when they come together, they become the Eight of Pentacles, which is the creation of alignment with your true desires. So Atlas means rich satin fabric. It also means a collection of maps. It means a moth, which, you know, moth, just like a butterfly, transforms from a caterpillar. And it's also, Atlas is the lead vertebrae in the spine. All right, that's the masculine energy. Hercules is coming up as Hercules, right? And Cules actually means backup. So her backup. Atlas and Hercules. Also, it's Hercu, La Sophia, because La S is Sophia. So her Q is the Sophia. And also her curls are coming up as the hair, as the feminine as opposed to the masculine. So Cules equals Culege, which means to collect or gather, but it also means to go astern or to back up. So that's where it's coming up as the backup. And then I was guided to also look up the acronyms LAS and LES, because LAS is the end of Atlas, LES is the end of Hercules. And it was very interesting. And I don't want to go through all of the definitions because there's a lot. But both LAS and LES are both tired, they both read, and it both means them, so they're talking about the other, and they both mean gather or forest. One is the hair, the hinge and the joint, and the other the tail. The LAS means all women, so it's like them, they're all women. So it's like Atlas saying to Hercules, they're all women. But Hercules with the LES references them as both. So the feminine sees the masculine as both masculine and feminine, whereas the masculine sees the feminine as just feminine, which is interesting because the feminine's XX and the masculine's XY, right? So, and then one is weary, wounded warrior, who shoots and welds, versus the other one being seen as lazy or offside or false or a spy. The LAS student, the LES, the course, and at her cue, LAS and LES, them and them, both see the other, but the divine masculine sees her as all divine feminine. The divine feminine sees him as the divine masculine and divine feminine. At 11:27, which is justice and the Ace of Wands, the passion. He at them, her cues them. Both tired read and gather, and the forest through the trees. He sees her as the student, the wounded warrior, the joint, the hinge that holds together. Also the wounded warrior who shoots and allows lower energy to creep in, but is also illuminated and shines like the flame, her hair, and she's all woman, with pale blue and green and silver colors, the glass, the early dawn, the young, the raw, the immature, fresh man. So in other words, she's all woman, so obviously she's an immature, fresh man. She needs to learn about how to be a man. She sees him as the lace or the course of study, both masculine and feminine, and harmed, or that could be seen as damaged. Offside, goggles and spies and stares and cheats, or is false, lying, and deceptive. Also the sound, the word, the private school, the one who reigns, the tail, the coffin, the one who's fed up, the lease. Both contain each other. So at less is referencing the feminine, and then Hercules, is referencing the masculine. So they're both referencing themselves as the other as well in Atlas and Hercules, which was very cool the way that came up. So again, Atlas, the rich satin fabric, the grid, the moth, and the lead vertebrae to carry the weight of the world, or the head. The Hercules, the child of Zeus or Jupiter, and hero with exceptional strength, with 12 labors, referencing the mother who actually labors the child, of redemption for killing their family, or in other words, divorce, sits between Lyra and Corona Borealis, and Hercules is also a crater in the moon. And you realize the moon is the false light, so the crater represents the divine feminine having punched the false light, the moon, because there's a crater there. And then we're referencing, I just showed you the picture of my daughter's car getting stabbed. And a place, Hercules is also a place between St. Francis and the City of Angels, or San Francisco, all right? So St. Francis and City of Angels, and St. Francis was actually coming up again here today as well. So in other words, her, the backup to collect and gather, she is the silver, not the gold. The gold is the Christ consciousness, the masculine energy. So the TM was coming up again from the code line. TM of 5T, 6T, and the 10 of orbs, and the dark side of the moon test. So it was very interesting because I'm getting 50 and 60, and I'm like, why are they showing me TM, and why are they showing me 50 and 60, and then the 10 of orbs, right? That's the ending the pain, or the painful ending, and then the shadow test. So what came was that TM literally means ATUM, atom, which in ancient Egypt is the source. And atom is like atom. So we're going to say atom, okay? So TM is atom. 5T and 60 is 50 and 60. And 50 to 60, 5 to 6 is the sweet spot with a lot of source backing them up. And you notice the difference between 50 and 60 is 10, which then the 10 of orbs comes up. And they were giving me the 10 commandments. So 50 to 60 is the sweet spot, and that can reference age as well, right? Because that's the sweet spot of your life when you've been through the worst of it, and you get to enjoy it, and you get to understand the 10 commandments and what they mean in life. And also 50 is the 10 of cups, and 60 is the 6 of swords, which is emotional fulfillment and peace of the 50 to 60-year-olds, and understanding the 10 commandments, being in the sweet spot of your life. But also the the 5 of the 50 coming up is the triangle, right? Because it's the change, and the symbol for change is a triangle. And the triangle is referencing the delta, or his. And then the 60 of the peace is referencing the upside down triangle, but with no base on it. Or in other words, hers, the divine feminine, the ungrounded, the etheric. So he's the masculine, or the 10 of cups, the 50, the 10 of cups, and the triangle is the expanding, the growing, the pi. And the upside down, or the V, without the bottom on it, is the etheric, the feminine. The contracting, right? So the expansion and the contraction. The contract is the delivery, or in other words, the phi, the PHI. So the masculine being the pi and the feminine being the phi. Leaving home and returning. So remember when I told you that pi equals going from the center of the circle to the perimeter and back again. So pi is human, phi is to return home after the awakening. After the awakening test. Pi is the human, phi is to, I'm sorry, not pi is to return home. Now I'm getting it mixed up. Dun, 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 dun. I think I said it right the first time. But anyway, you can look up pi and phi again if I said something wrong. But so just like I said, the 0 point between +1 and -1 is the going out, going out in the world and then returning home again. So the pi and phi are referencing that. When you go too far outside your home, then you need to come back to center again, right? To ground yourself, to become balanced again. So all of this energy was coming up in reference to the code line here. After the divine feminine, hit her alter ego false light in the moon, the crater in the moon. That was really funny coming up. So at her Q, LAS and LES, and I told you this already, this part already. The code line was TM, 50 and 60, and the 10 of the 10 commandments of, or the BS of the dark side of the moon test, or in other words, aging, right? Because we all think that's a bunch of BS. So also TM was coming up as transcendental and meditation, transcendental meditation. And you notice that transcendental has dental in it and meditation has med in it. They're both medically oriented. And then Toyota Motor Company came up, the corporation, as well as thematic maps, the satellite sensor. The Trust Master is the PC joystick and game controller or maker. It was funny because PC comes up as politically correct as well. So the Thrustmaster is the PC joystick, the politically correct joystick, and the game controller or maker. Also Telemundo Spanish TV came up, as well as Touch Mobile. And TM also means thrombomodulin, which is a membrane protein, which takes me back to cuticles, because I was guided at one point to mix in my juice in the morning artichoke with cranberries. I put a lot of fruit and stuff in there, but cranberry and artichoke and your cuticles actually were a certain combination they were showing me to use. And your cuticles are actually a protective barrier of your immune system, so there's probably a lot of vitamins in there or something specific. But the membrane protein was coming up here as the thrombomodulin. And then also, of course, TM is trademark. TM is also where atom comes up, the Chinese symbol of he, him, other, mother, mama, to be complete, to finish, to not do, to not be, everything, totality, completion, the God Atom, which is also spelled A-T-E-M or just Tem, T-E-M, the creator God of Heliopolis, and the original source of all matter associated with the evening sun. Or in other words, his Ka, his energy. And all of this I got from either Wiktionary or from en.m.wikipedia.org. So he's considered creator and father to the king. Atun, or Adam, we're going to call him, created Stal and goddess Tefnut by spitting them out of his mouth through masturbation, and the hand that he used in this act represented the female principle inherent within him, or in other words, made union with his shadow. So this was very cool. He was considered the evening sun, whereas Ra or Khepri was more related to the morning or midday sun, but it's all the same energy. I'm said to have ascended from chaos waters with appearance of a snake, the animal receiving itself every morning, or in other words, having sex. Adam is the god of pre and post existence in binary solar cycle. The serpentine and Adam contrasted with the scarab-headed god Khepri, the young sun god who encompassed sunrise, sunset, and you notice sunrise and sunset has come up several times this week in the reads, at 12:04, which is the hangman and the emperor. Sunrise, sunset, thus reflecting the entire cycle of the morning and the evening. And I was noting that I was getting touched then too today. So Adam sent fiery messenger Eye of Ra to find his children. Tears of joy he shed upon their return were the first human beings. And then as soon as I listened to this and I heard the 3 eyes of Ra, and even though I know the 3 daughters as the eyes of Ra, I understand that principle, I was getting actually Thoth, Metatron, and Mother Mary, which is interesting because the 2 daughters of the Eyes of Ra actually act as, they're actually, 2 of them are considered one, but they're kind of like the alter egos. One is the warrior and one is the one who makes him laugh and makes him have fun. And that's like Thoth and Metatron, but they're their masculine energies here, even though they come up as Ra's daughters, which really doesn't matter because the 3rd I was getting is Mother Mary. And then I'm getting like the whole group is represented as Gabriel, as the messenger of Adam, or Atum. Seen as the serpent and white and red crown, also in some circumstances seen as the mongoose, the lion, the bull, the lizard, or the ape. The only remaining of Heliopolis is the temple of Re-Atum in Cairo. And I said rebirth, re-be, re-atom in Cairo. And that's funny too, because the definition said was to not be, to not act, to not be, to not do. Re-atom in Cairo. It was erected by Senusret of the 12th dynasty. So here the 12 comes up again, and right now we're dealing with that time period of the energy coming in from the full moon of the second, today till tomorrow of the full moon till the 12th. And here the 12th dynasty is coming up. So Metatron and Thoth, and as I've told you before, Metatron and Michael come to me as thunder and lightning, that Metatron's thunder, and he always makes jokes that he's the heavyweight and Michael's the lightweight. Michael's the light, he's the sound. So Metatron comes up as Thoth, as the thunder, the sound or the word, and Michael the light or the color. And then Mother Mary over them. The messenger as Gabriel, the messenger of light. So at 12:19, which is the hangman and the sun, I start the read on the 5 of Pentacles reversed here. So the 5 of Pentacles is this card here with the clarifiers on top. And below that is the 3 of Wands upright, the transition card reversed, which is like the death card, the star upright, and the King of Pentacles reversed. Recovery from exile, destitution, injury, or illness, after, present, post-death, dark night, shining light, healed, and dreams come true. The King of Pentacles reversed is ungrounded, losing money or status, or stepping down or retiring. The Hermit and Mary Magdalene. The Hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave, but without light. And in surrender to the 10th wand reversed, the need to birth or rebirth, to grow, to expand, to hit Bam Bam over the head with his own bat, or Batman. The 10 of Cups, emotionally fulfilled in connection, merge of awakening and enlightenment of the hermit and the wounded warrior, surrendering their light and wand into oneness, the Ten of Wands reversed of confession of the 10 Commandments, to only dump a load together and joining happy family and awakening and enlightenment, from the wands of desire to the cups of love, the buttercup yellow of Mary Magdalene level. Divided we fall, united we stand, and face all adversity together, responding with love. The Five of Swords truth, without love, the inner war, the being on guard, the defensive end, Babylon was coming up here. Edward Scissorhands confronts the whistleblower, the bully and the tattletale, to expose all. Feel the sun's rays, the recharging of the battery of the safety and the pin and pull. So the safety pin, I did a diagram of the safety pin showing how the safety pin was the example of how the masculine and the feminine work. When the pin of the safety pin opens, that's the feminine collecting from the sun, and then it goes down into the double circles at the bottom of the pin. One is the feminine, one's the masculine, then the back of the pin is the masculine, and then the housing at the top. Okay, so my safety pin was being referenced again here because we're talking about recharging the battery. The feminine goes out and gets some sun and gets recharged and then sends the energy to her masculine so he can sustain and get his work done. So the safety and the pin comes up. So the safety was coming up from football, from Wikipedia. So the gridiron football position is the safety. The defensive back who lined up about 10 yards from the scrimmage line, it could be 10 to 15 yards, from the scrimmage line, so it's referencing the 10 again, who can play as the linebacker or a normal safety. They have a free safety and a strong safety. And cornerbacks who cover receivers but also blitz and intercept. So you notice the words we all use in the twin flame journey all the time. And the not quarterbacks, but the cornerbacks are amongst the fastest players on the field because they have to do all of this stuff. The American football, there's 11 players with 2 safeties, but in Canadian, there's 12 players with 1 safety and two defensive backs or halfbacks. Then there's a pin and pull offense scheme. The rule for the offensive linemen to pull if they're uncovered by a defensive lineman. This allows for more offensive linemen to get involved in both inside and outside the zone runs. The arc releasing and reach blocking like the outside zone play. The rule of thumb, pulling out the plum, is the difference between being covered or uncovered, or in other words, having no backup player. So it doesn't mean you don't have an opponent. It means the opponent doesn't have a backup or you don't have a backup. So we're talking about having backup here, and that was coming up as the feminine backing up the masculine, as the Atlas and the Hercules energy. And the safety, the word safety literally means to secure from detaching even under vibrations. So even under very high vibration. Safety means to be able to secure even when you're vibrating at a really high rate, which is the masculine being the back of the safety pin. He's holding the fort down while the feminine's going out and collecting the sun and nourishing them both. So you see how that works. So the pin means holy, pine, peg, to say, to tell, spruce, fir, or battery. So pin literally means battery, as I'm referencing the battery of the safety pin diagram that I'd drawn. And pin means battery. The amount of electric it holds, or torch or flashlight. So pin also means woman, and it means embarrassing. So when the woman goes out to collect energy for the man by sitting out in the sun, she also can embarrass him or be a pain or torment him. Or what else was coming up? The coop. Not the chicken, but the coop. She's referenced as the coop. He keeps her safe as she nourishes him. So it was really cool, the definitions that were coming up with that. So at 111, 1 is the magician, 11 is justice. The hermit's reversed, exposed by the sun, and the whistleblower with issues at work. The Knight of Pentacles moving forward, as the Knight of Swords reversed, is holding their tongue, trying not to rush them. So there's that football play, right? The hermit reversed is disoriented without their light. They can't find their way. So they don't have their energy from the sun, from the feminine, they can't find their way. So they're saying The feminine needs to collect the energy for both of them to sustain them, just like you would take care of your child in the womb. I'm going to read that again. The Hermit is exposed by the Sun, the Hermit reversed, and the whistleblower with issues at work, and the Knight of Pentacles is moving forward as the Knight of Swords is holding their tongue, trying not to rush them, but the Hermit reverse is disoriented without their light. They can't find their way. Hiding backstage at recess just got everyone looking for them, searching high and low, tic-tac-toe and jumping dimensions, in detention, the back room at the church or place of worship, or tainted religious leaders discussing how the altar boy can be used best. Taken to the countryside or led there begrudgingly, not telling them it was to be a slave or slave labor and verbal abuse, or forced to do artwork or work on a statue, the loyal servants of the cathedrals, of the Immaculate Conception. The attack in Nicaragua Sunday, destroying an ancient crucifix, was coming up under cathedral. And then Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul in Philadelphia came up as well. There they had two papal masses. One was Pope John Paul II in 79. Again, 79 comes up as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And also Pope Francis in 2015 also did one. So St. Peter's Basilica in Rome then came up from the Vatican City, and the cathedral, and it was Constantine's Basilica. My father's name was Constantine, so it always cracks me up when that kind of stuff comes up. It was Constantine's, like my dad saying, you know, it was mine. So Constantine's Basilica before St. Peter's. Constantine's reflects contrast of the light and the dark, allowing the light to shine in from a small hole of the morning star. But the rest of it is simple and rough building. You know, it's a simple place, just like the real, you know, Holy Grail type of thing. The Sistine Chapel was coming up, 1471, Pope Sixtus IV commissioned it. And then, of course, Michelangelo comes up, so Archangel Michael's coming up, and Revelations. This chapel was actually 132 by 44 by 68. And it's also the same dimensions as Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. And this is coming from livescience.com. And that one in Solomon's Temple was destroyed 70 after death. And then Michelangelo is coming up as far as the Sistine Chapel, and 1508 to 1512, he did the ceiling work, the 9 stories of Genesis, the creation of Adam, and then 1535, the western wall over the altar, or in other words, the Last Judgment was done, and that's the Revelations, 1541. Considered himself more of a sculptor than a painter, and some of his, you know, the nudity was then later painted over by another artist because of the demands of certain members who then didn't deem them politically correct, right, because there's too much nudity. So now the altar's coming up, which then sparked in me. They wanted me to relate this to the Statue of Liberty because there's an etheric altar over the Statue of Liberty from Atlantis. And I've also seen that's where the Palladian ship comes in to meet the angels at the base of the Statue of Liberty. So Michelangelo considered himself more of a sculptor than a painter. I got that part. And then Archangel Michael at the Last Judgment, and the sculptor, the Statue of Liberty altar came up. His greatest work would be, this is Archangel Michael talking now. His greatest work would be the connection at Lady Liberty, which was done in 1886. And so Liberty Island and Ellis Island. And with Ellis, I was getting the Elohim is land. El, Isis, land. Lady Liberty, which is the same as the Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene around is, which is Isis or Sophia. So it's just showing you they're all connected. The Sophia, the Mother Mary, the Mary Magdalene, and the Isis connection here is Ellis Island, and the Lady Liberty. Okay, so Michael, Sophia's right-hand man, and Metatron, her left. So I-S isn't just Isis, it's coming as I, Sophia, I am, the letter M, I am that I am. So it's referencing Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Metatron and Michael. So then zero play comes up from football, and zero is also the human embodiment of source, and also the 0 point, the Statue of Liberty, The base has 11 points, not 10. It looks like it has 10, but it actually has 11 points. Like I was guided to look up football, and they were stating that it was 11 players as opposed to the Canadians' 12. Well, here the base points on the Statue of Liberty are 11 points. The base is, it's hendecagram, Hendecagram, hendecagram. The star is a polygon and 11 vertices with golden rectangle, which is referencing the golden ratio again. Golden, or the Fibonacci spiral, the Droste effect. So then they also showed at the Statue of Liberty the divine triangle, which actually I think I can show you. I didn't realize that. I don't want to drop everything here. Okay, so the divine triangle, the numerology book, this is the book, and I want to show it to you because I want you to see the triangle. See the shape of the right triangle with the square of the youth plus the square of the power equals the square of the wisdom, right? On this right isosceles triangle, I think it is. So, but look at the shape of the whole thing around the whole square, because they call this, the whole shape around it, they were referencing this at the Statue of Liberty. The shape is called the bridal's chair. It's also referenced as the windmill, the peacock's tail, and Pythagorean's pants. And the numerology book I just showed you is based on the Pythagorean theorem. And I noticed also the 7 points on the crown. So there was significance here with this 11 points on the base and the 7 points on the crown, along with using the golden ratio for the squares. And again, this shape of the bridal's chair. So what did I just talk about in the previous read was the throne for the Queen of Swords to sit upon, and here's the bridal's chair of the Pythagorean theorem. The squares of the two sides of an isosceles triangle equals the square of the hypotenuse. I believe that's the definition. And that's at 212, which is thy priestess, and the hangman are the wisdom. And the third square is wisdom. So that's pretty cool. So at 218, talking about Archangel Michael, so Archangel Michael's giving this message about Michelangelo, but they ruined his artwork by covering up the body parts. Slave owners fall as the humble servant rises from galleys and gallows to rise above their abusers. So they were taking me to the Vatican, not just for the beautiful artwork, but to reference the people who were abused to do all this work. And God knows what else was done to them when they had to do all this stuff. And God knows how many young boys were doing this kind of work as well. So that kind of stuff was coming up, as well as, it's not just the Vatican, but any situation where children are being abused. So recovering from being silenced, the lambs. At 222, this comes up right exactly here. The King of Cups, out finding peace. At 222, the American dream of magician embodiment. The place of peace of the dreamer, using their imagination, where one without much can achieve their dreams. The place where people risk their lives to get there by sea, to the land of the free and the home of the braves, the Atlanta Braves. And then the Georgia Guidestones came up. The granite pieces erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, the 10 guidelines in 8 modern languages, and shorter message inscribed at the top in 4 ancient language scripts. And it's 750 feet above sea level. But all of the numbers were very calculated, because it's like 90 miles from the east of Atlanta, which is 140 kilometers. So the 9 references the 14, which is important here. And then from Athens, 45 miles or 72 kilometers. So you notice the numbers. And then 9 miles and 14 kilometers north of the center of Elberton. One slab is in the middle with 4 around it, and then the capstone on top. It is also astronomically aligned. And some considered it or called it the American Stonehenge. And of course, some people call it the New World Order as well. But it's 9 foot 3 inches tall and 237,746 pounds. It advocates population control, eugenics, internationalism, and the target of conspiracy theory. In June of 79, again here's 79, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and also the 2 numbers that hold up the 8, the Lion's Gate. Robert C. Christian approached Elberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans, is what they called themselves. A compass, a calendar, a clock able to withstand catastrophic events. And of course, this was 20 years in the making, because the calculations of everything they did with these stones was very specific, and of course the group was anonymous. They purchased 5 acres. That was on October 1st, 79, which that date adds up to 37, which is the King of Cups. And it was unveiled on March 22nd, 1980, which adds up to 43, which is the 3 of Cups, the unveiling, the celebration. And it was to 2 different numbers. One, I guess there was an accounting of 100 people, and the other accounting was of 400 people. So in 2008, it was defaced by death to the New World Order. And then September 2014, the FBI was contacted because it was vandalized, because someone wrote on there, "I am Isis, goddess of love," which just came up regarding the Liberty. So the languages that are listed on there are English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. And ancients, of course, were Greek, Sanskrit, Egyptian, and the hieroglyphics. And what it subscribes on there basically is humanity should only be 500 million in order to perpetuate balance in with nature. So that's what the planet can hold or balance properly. Guide reproduction wisely with fitness and diversity, 1 new language, to rule passion, faith, tradition, all things with tempered reason, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts, all nations rule internally, resolving extended disputes in a world court. So they'd have a world court. To avoid petty laws and useless officials, balance personal rights with social duties, prize truth and beauty and love, and seeking harmony with the infinite, and be not a cancer on the earth, or in other words, leave room for nature, leave room for nature. The time capsule was said to be buried underneath the tablet for dates. The dates for burial, though, and when it was supposed to be open, though, were left off there, so they don't really know if anything was actually buried, but it was supposed to be buried 6 feet below, and I just referenced 6 feet below a couple days ago. But those dates were not inscribed on there. So there was some inconsistent punctuation and misspellings in pseudonym, which really doesn't matter because it would have been revolving around coding, not correct spelling. The astro features had to do with channeling through the stone lined up with the celestial pole, horizontal slot with the annual travel of the sun, and then the sunbeam through the capstone marks the noon time every day of the year or throughout the year. So that was coming up for a reason. If anything comes up for you guys, please let me know in the comments. So then back to the read at 249, which is the High Priestess and the 9 of Cups, was the honeymoon, and below that was deception. The King of Pentacles reversed is not a superhero. The 5 of Cups reversed is over it, is that he's over it. Awake to the distance of separation, and the King of Pentacles reversed pointing northwest as the postman didn't deliver what was promised, with a hostage on the glass ceiling of blues and greens along with Caterpillar, as one plays the role of her, the false light, to control the harp, or mimicking the Divine Feminine's drama to denounce her pain and making fun of her while owning the Divine Masculine player. So it's like the false lights playing out the parts of the masculine and the feminine. An all business relationship together but at a distance with canopy, keeping it all in the family, perhaps second cousins, so no one can cross them or expose family secrets, or a lot of breeding with distant relatives to maintain the bloodline, or within one religion. Strumming my pain with his fingers, using the harp like an ultrasound machine and probe, plucking strings while touching skin, one at a time while another looks on. 6 candles burning at bedside, with green curtains and blankets preventing spread, or germophobic, someone sick with heart issues, separation, or broken heart, which there is no cure for. Patience comes up here, number 2, the High Priestess, and physical activity beneath that was 67, the Knight of Pentacles. So buried treasure under the radar as the player falls short of the Queen of Swords with the light. And again, I reference that as the person sitting on the throne. And the Fool free to dance and write, to dump a load, a burden, or responsibilities and confess with no other options at the new moon waxing to the full moon tomorrow. The 11 wands, and here's the reference to 11 of 11 football on the team, and the 11, what just came up on the other page? Now I can't remember, but this is the third time referencing 11. So the 11 wands of 9 and 2, the Hermit and High Priestess, the baton dropped, the ankle ring too big, swirls of colors and ribbons and Indian flats or bally shoes and Chinese torture test, the jester's court, in jest retort. The deer in the headlights caught on the run or tackled in the field, unable to choose, so they run, leaving 2 deer perplexed. The Queen of Swords and the Fool upright with the treasure, dumped the load together under the radar. The path chosen but unable to implement, receiving or recovering in a practical sense, holding their tongue or recovering from rushing or Russian, manifesting big time in separation with patience. The recent past is the 9 of Swords upright, suffering in silence or dealing with a sister, coming clean or getting clean, the Knight of Wands rushing in passionately from the 6 of Swords of peace with a pain in the ass, perhaps a massage. Issues at workplace with the High Priestess, the secret of Pisces or intuitive abilities, getting over loss and regret or the past, the Page of Pentacles needing help or child in need of help, money, or opportunity, or lost an employee. And the Emperor reversed, or the Emperor reversed lost an opportunity or stepped down or retired or is out of control, abusing their power. And this was at 321 again. So this is jump, 321 jump. 321 is also the Empress and the World, completion. As we turn the page to 22 and the Fool with an open heart and a leap of faith, the foundation is the Tower reversed, the Queen of Wands in hiding, avoiding or with the Hermit reversed, going crazy or dementia or over-isolating, perhaps defensive or on guard while letting go to repair and coming together with groups, friends, supporting the lion, the pet, or Lionsgate, keeping up their strength. Scorpio reversed, Virgo reversed, Leo upright, and fixing up a house or office, a job accomplished. The central energy being the shadow upright, good news. Journey leading the way to patient angel to make an offer to the Queen of Swords reversed, or taking the animal to the vet, or hip hip hooray for Leo, or giving a lift to the Knight of Pentacles to see them, or hiding Virgo reversed as pushing them down while raising up the Leo or ego to Sagittarius Capricorn, facing the Queen of Swords reversed to end the pain or painful end, or to get a massage or other healing modality. Or the 2 of Swords here. The Capricorn, or the journey to the higher love, one step at a time, to the Knight of Pentacles, loyal, humble servant, offering help or a proposition or a gift or payment to the Queen of Swords reversed. Challenged by treatment, pain, or getting treated by X, or without affection, presenting the truth to align with sealed divine feminine or with the world, the collective consciousness. Being strong without a lover, and the 6 of Cups reversed, hurtful past or childhood or difficult kids, present or a pain in the butt, or a gift of the moment. At 336, it's all in your perspective, and another bird tapped on the front window. Like most days, I never hear any tapping on the windows. In the past couple of days, I've probably heard the bird hit the window like at least 6 or 7 times. Justice, Judge, Divorce, or Libra walking away and within, as the King of Wands reversed is without affection, walking away, or hiking in the mountains, defenseless to downturn, slow down, or twist of fate, lacking faith, falling on face from grace or in deception, avoidance before dawn or in the aftermath of sudden events, of energetic exchange, expressing feelings or hours of love with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, Empress, powerless Empress, or Taurus daughter of Empress, or both Emperor reversed and Empress upright are out in the cold and recovering together, or hanging a shingle over home retirement, or loss of independence, power, or money, or financial drain or dependent. Now, in the crowning position is the Knight of Wands upright, starting over, with time not on his side or in his favor, without affection or lover, or in breakup or dissatisfaction, or Libra reversed and Gemini reversed, one standing over and the other not happy, or the one starting over and the other not happy. The Knight of Wands star, healer, or dream come true, withholding or saving money at present without option, and the King of Pentacles reversed, broke, broken, broke down, up or through, or state of emergency, ambulance, or stuck, canceled a move or travel. So the Knight of Wands is getting moving now and working out, or getting out and about. Sagittarius and Aquarius are the only ones upright right here as far as energy. Libra reversed, Gemini reversed, Cancer reversed, and Aries reversed. King of Wands reversed could be a Sagittarius or Aries, hiking or left the place, perhaps running by the water and fell, or defenseless to devil showing up, with the penis with a mind of its own. While with Sovereign reversed, Queen of Pentacles reversed, Page of Cups reversed, Nine of Swords reversed, and the King of Swords reversed, the only peace he's having is with the devil twin, the so-called devil twin, and the King of Swords reversed, and the Page of Swords at 357, the Empress and the Three of Swords, connecting in deception or before dawn, at a distance but together, playing footsie and breaking bread, and the flame always there. At 357, no leg to stand on, negative self-talk, spying, lying, or dumping emotional attachments, or the evidence of sudden events and rejection of energetic exchange after conflict or after dumping a load, a burden, responsibilities, or confessing with Capricorn and Scorpio, or the devil's wave, the sign wave, to dark night, death, end, and transition, the grim reaper, and the devil powerless to the Empress recovery on journey. Soon is the Ten of Pentacles upright, the family, business, community, or legacy, sharing, working, or being charitable, settling out with the world, or completion, the Divine Feminine in 5D, or announcing, that could be someone traveling as well, or announcing, or a final judgment, a wake-up call, or waking the dead, or with the dead, or cattle call to union or home, or keeping in touch with family around the world. Or she completes me. A world between aligning with truth and sharing with others, connecting the dots. Home offering a new life, or time, money, and energy to defenseless. Or so they would be defenseless to return a wand, or choose a new path, like give them something in return. Or an offer that's too good to be true here, with the patient angel, a higher love, a present, a gift, a persuasion to change their mind. Or family is gifting a home, or settling or purchasing, or settling a purchase or sale, or settling in or working from home, and ready to offer some time, money, and effort to a new path or twin. Patient, angel, or Sagittarius. He sees himself as the Six of Pentacles upright, all about balance and purity, and protecting the heart from the Empress, or trying to balance two women, or wife and mother, or woman with abundance. Juggling, performing, keeping their balls up in the air, as the star, as the healer, as the dream maker, or all for Aquarius and Taurus. Avoiding or in the aftermath of sudden events, Scorpio or Queen of Cups, it could be a Cancer or Scorpio Queen of Cups here, or deception, or falling on their face in front of the Empress, or falling for her, so avoiding all that. Or the Empress is holding all the money, supporting Cancer reversed and Aries reversed, and the Queen of Cups upright is surrounded by Scorpio reversed and Aquarius reversed, and another Cancer reversed and Aries reversed, balancing the Aquarius, Scorpio, Cancer, Aries, and Taurus between home and work at 418, which is the Emperor and the Moon. So that could be the Emperor working at night. Religious factors, express your love. Children could be affecting your love life, and this could be the one. You have already met the romantic partner you seek. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he's seen, is the Queen of Wands in energetic exchange, or lots of back and forth with the Page of Wands reversed, kids, frustrated, or sick child in the sun, or exposing all, recovering Leo, suffering in silence, or not sleeping and disconnect from the King of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community. 2 may be recovering from exile, destitution, injury, or illness, with family or pets now home, and perhaps miss them. Now they're showing that they miss them. The Divine Masculine at work, the Queen of Wands with abundant family and separation, or with family abroad, as the Divine Masculine was holding down the fort. And the block for the masculine is the twin flame, again the label, the choice, the heartbreak, the jealousy, the not sleeping and rising above. The block, his own blocks of being able to rise above. His blocks about coming out, about jealousy and separation, about insincerity or moodiness. And 425 is the Emperor and the Knight of Wands getting busy. Relationship change, compassion, parenting, but even more so for the masculine comes up here, follow your dreams. The avoid dance, the Ten of Swords, ending pain, of broken heart, leading the way through death, end, portal, transition, and energetic exchange. Powerlessness to abundance, and the Empress's recovery. Good news, success, attention, dumped or dumped on, purging, crying, overwhelmed, peeing, vomiting, or the Emperor reversed, and the Hierophant upright, the Aries reversed, and the Taurus upright. The Knight of Wands and the Journeyman leading the way in awakening, the rebirth of the King of Wands reversed, dark night, near death, dead tired, or Scorpio reversed and Capricorn upright, or kids keeping him awake all night, or 2 kids out all night and parents are up worried. The Knight of Swords reversed, holding back the 5D message, and the negative talk, or the Knight of Swords reversed and the Page of Swords reversed, lied, spied, are mean, or are not talking in separation. The storm, or out in a lightning storm, released from prison, anxiety, or fear, or 2 fired, or let go, or fired up, after letting them back in, now released again. 2 energies, real go-getters, and 2 not, or the 2 that were real go-getters are found out that those 2 were lying or spying or stealing, and now heartbroken or in separation, released or let go. At 437, the Emperor and the King of Cups. Resisting, recovering, or letting them back in, sharing or settling out with the Queen of Wands, suffering in silence, or sister, with shadow side or web, or Capricorn, and challenged by ending pain or painful end in betrayal, or back pain and associated treatments like a massage, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, and the twin flame or choice of path, the Knight of Wands, moving passionately on a journey with success, leading the awakening, or has a big ego, holding their tongue or holding back an announcement, with negative self-talk, lies, or no message, or mouthy kids, or employees hurt or in separation and released. Recovering from suffering in silence, or a sister, or stressed, purging, up nights without option, in the aftermath, or avoiding shadow work, or devilish Knight of Wands, and challenged by the pain in the butt. Sharing, being charitable, and settling out, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, the Queen of Wands choosing a path, or what journey to take in the awakening, with the Knight of Swords reversed and the Page of Swords reversed in separation and or release. And I literally end this right at 4:44, so I knew it was time to stop. All right, so we're already at almost 2 hours, so I'm going to just do another quick energy deck card, and then I'm going to let you go. So let's see, what is the takeaway from the second read here? There was a lot of information that came up. What is it about the Atlanta guidelines, or the Georgia guidelines? I forget what the name is. And the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. Is there any messages that you have around this? What is our takeaway from this? Okay. Anxiety, 18, the moon. So here's that, the false light is coming up with anxiety. And that's because the full moon is tomorrow. So it's time, you know, the release at the end of this read also has to do with the release of the full moon tomorrow. Excuse me. Okay, so this is coming up, so be aware of it and allow it to release, or meditate or run or do something to release it, because there's the storm warning number 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. It's also that high vibration. It's saying when you're feeling anxiety, go into that high vibration, right? You're getting the storm warning. The anxiety is the warning to go into your high vibration or meditate or do something to ground yourself. And then this one also wants to be seen, the thinking man. So this is the masculine figuring out what he wants to do. So the safety pin example is coming up to remind you that you guys are always connected. So when you take care of yourself, like getting codes from the sun, it helps for everyone, right? Because it recharges you and then him, okay? And vice versa. So that he then, when he does his, then he's able to do his work, then you will get that same charge back. And it's 7:44 on my clock. It's 1:55 here, 17. And that's the Magician, the Ace of Swords, and the 17 of the Star. And remember, the star is 8, so that references August as well. The bottom of the deck is the thinking woman. So we have the thinking man and the thinking woman. Look at that. If you're both thinking, well, obviously you're going to have some anxiety because you're both in your head, okay? And we're at the full moon, so it's letting you know you're either thinking too much or you're intellectualizing. And if you're not grounded, to just go ahead and ground. So if the anxiety comes up, just go ahead and ground. And like I said, there's a ton of stress in the heart right now. And it just hit 156. 56 is that 2 of Swords being in your knowing. And that was the card or the number that I was telling you is about the grounders on the perimeters of rising up the 8-8 with the 7-7 and the 9-9. The 56 and 10, we're surrounding them with high vibration and grounding them really solidly down. The masculine energies being the 3D holders so that the feminine can achieve a really high vibration. All right, I got to stop talking now. All right, so you guys, I hope that was helpful for you. We also have the 4 cards that I have to mention these cards too up here. We have from the Tarot of Sexual Magic. This is the 7 of Wands, the Tower, the Hermit, and then the Magician. So that references the 7 of Wands was reversed. So defenseless to the energies of that Tower energy. The Tower was reversed though, so it's not full power. But in the sex deck, that's about jealous rage. So it's like in the aftermath of that, or trying to avoid that from happening. The Hermit who's reversed, who's hiding out or trying to do something about missing their flame. And then the Magician with insecurities. Was the Magician upright or reversed? Oh, I'm sorry, the Magician was upright. So the Magician there is in full Magician embodiment. So it's like the Hermit missing their flame, now reversed and now doing something about it and going into their full Magician embodiment. And that came up today as well, so that like all channels are on. So the masculines coming into their full power with this full moon leading into Lionsgate. So there's really important energy coming up here as usual. As we're going to, all right, rise and be loved, guys. Bye.